My name is Peyton Johnson. I went to Germantown High School right here in Madison. Grew up here. And during high school, I was a quarterback on the football team. I played baseball. That was my life growing up, and it culminated in high school. I loved it. I loved being able to be with my friends because they were all involved with that as well. I had a beautiful girlfriend, straight A's. Was blessed. I had everything I could ask for, really. And so on the outside, it looked great. And I loved that because if I made sure that it looked good to everybody around me, I didn't have to worry about anyone bothering me about what was going on the inside. Because all throughout high school, I began to struggle really bad, extremely bad with depression and suicidal thoughts, a lot actually. And the craziest thing is that it would get really bad and the worst when after times that were supposed to be the greatest, after great football games, after a great performance on the baseball field, after getting the honor roll, I would leave and feel completely numb and empty. And because I would see these things that I was told was going to give me meaning and purpose, and I would leave empty. And so I was like, well, if this is it, then I might as well just be not here. And I never really bothered to look into anything to fix it. The only people that really knew about it were my girlfriend and my mom. And the couple of times that they would nudge me to, hey, you should go talk to somebody, or you should maybe look into getting some help, I would, my inner manhood, my inner man pride, I guess, would kick in and be like, I'll take care of it. You know, I've taken care of it this far and it hasn't done anything yet, no matter how close it got. And so leave me alone. You know, that was kind of my mentality. But yeah, growing up in high school, if I could keep my image of the quarterback with the straight A's, perfectly fine guy, then I was fine, because nobody else was bothering me about what was really going on. As I finished through high school and on into college, I started to experiment with different, alcohol, different drugs and stuff, and I never really indulged with people. I wasn't the one to party. I did it to help numb everything. I did it so that it made me feel like I didn't have to worry about my depression. I didn't have to feel anything. So as I progressed through college, I began to get more and more lax in my, morals. I guess you would say. I started to grow this idea that, hey, you're gonna die soon, so do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. There's nothing to hold you back because you know you're not going to be here much longer. And so that started taking effect on my relationships, especially with my girlfriend, and on my physical being, because I started to just stay drunk. And I was off working somewhere, and I was unfaithful to my girlfriend. And once that happened, I knew that once this came into light, that was it. I had ruined the person that I trusted the most, who actually told me she loved me, and I almost believed it, So knowing that that was going to ruin all of that, I was like, dude, you're toast. Like, you're done. This is it. You have a reason, a solid reason to give in to those thoughts. And so it all came to culmination, I guess, about 1 year ago exactly, when I had lost my best friend and my girlfriend because of what I had done. Because I convinced myself that what I was doing was okay because I was going to die, and here I was trying to find a way to do that. And so I grew up, my parents were great parents, and they kept me in church, and I never wanted to invest in church, but I always had a Bible around growing up. I wouldn't consider myself a Christian, quote unquote. I certainly didn't know God or Christ or what He was for me, what He had done for me. But this night, when I was, figuring out the logistics of how to finish my thoughts, I opened the Bible because there was something saying, just give it a try. What's it gonna hurt? You've already sold out, you might as well. And so at about 3:30 in the morning, I opened the Bible and it opens to Psalms 51, which I didn't know at the time, but I would come to find out that that passage related extremely well to where I found myself. And first verses of that passage read, "Have mercy on me, O God, according to your unfailing love. According to your undeniable mercy, blot out my transgressions." And it goes on to talk about this God that would give me a new heart and a new spirit, and that all I had to give him was my sacrifice of a broken spirit. So I'm sitting here and I'm in the worst spot I've ever been. My depression and my desire to not live had ruined my greatest relationship, had disappointed family and friends, ruined that image that I had tried to protect the whole time, and left me feeling completely in despair. But then there's this God who says, I don't care what you've done, it's according to my love, and it's according to my mercy, that you'll be given a new heart and a new spirit. And it was in that moment that I felt like I had a purpose for my life. So the next day I texted my mom and I said, I want to get help. And so she got me connected with the pastor that I grew up in church with. But there was a guy who, all throughout high school, was always there on the football team. And he was always there to do the prayer before the games. And I knew he would be there to listen. I didn't really know him very well, but I knew he was a good guy to talk to. So I texted him and I said, hey, Mr. Phillip, would you mind getting coffee with me? And so he agreed to, and we went and got coffee, and I told him everything that had happened, everything I'd done, where I was at, and he said, okay, here's what we're gonna do. And so he got me in touch with some counseling, and began that process of getting counseling for my depression, and you know, he encouraged me every day. I mean, he stayed on me to stay in contact, which is big because not a lot of people seem to ever really care that much. It was always a pass and go kind of thing, but he was a preacher who was willing to talk to me every day and listen to me, which was huge because I had a lot to say. And so I began counseling, and it wasn't always pretty from the start. I had some really, really dark days when I had to face everything that I'd been hiding and shoving to the back of my mind. Had to pull it out and get rid of it, and it hurts sometimes, especially, you know, kind of growing pains. But God was there the whole time, and it was His strength that allowed me on some really, really dark nights when I could sit and look at my past, and He could sit and wipe it away over and over every time I pulled it back out. And you know, the morning after I read that passage, the music I had been listening to wasn't so enticing, and stuff I'd been watching didn't really interest me that much anymore. I wanted to start trying different things for weird reasons. I wanted to write, wanted to draw, I wanted to get into some arts, and I was a sports guy. Like that I was like, what is this? But it was things that I wanted to do because there was this passion that was starting to grow in me that said, I want to glorify this God who saved my life. And each day that passed, that passion grew, and because I began to learn that He literally saved me from myself. I learned that if it hadn't been for Him, and if it had been on me, I wouldn't be here a year later. So the girl whose heart I broke, God wasn't finished with our story. A couple weeks after everything had happened, she came back to my house, and we began to talk. And during a time that was supposed to be a lot of fighting and questioning and anger, it was a time of trading ways that God had been working in our life, ways that He had been changing us and molding us into people after His own heart. And so from then on, we began to talk and get into the Word together, worship together, and serve together. And now we've been married for a couple of months. In a way that only God could do it, and a way only God would want it. And so I continue to get counseling, and I still seek help when I need it, and I'm not, the depression, I hate to say it, doesn't just fade away. It has its lingering effects, and that's okay. I don't mind, because I would take that a million times to find the God that I did, you know. There's a lot of people I've come to learn that are really good at painting a picture with their life. But there's not a lot behind the canvas. And what is behind the canvas can be really dark. Nobody wants to talk about it. And sometimes that'll break through the canvas and ruin the picture. And for me, that's what God did, is He went inward and took out the dark and created a sculpture out of the painting. You know, He took something that looked great on the outside but was completely empty and made it into something for Him. And if me telling what He's done in me can save one life, can save one 16-year-old from not being here tomorrow, that can give one mom a pause for hope and for joy, then I'll spend the rest of my life telling this story. Because that's what He's done for me. I mean, He's taken my life that had zero hope, that had any meaning or purpose to it. And that's all it is now, because of Him, because of what His Son did for me. He did for the entire world. So the world might as well know that.